This portion of This Week in Agribusiness is brought to you by Firestone Ag. The Firestone Ag Dealer Network offers you the support, inventory, and resources you need. Visit firestoneag.com to find your local certified dealer. We continue talking about Ukraine with another one of the folks from Advance Trading. Joining us here, Drew Moore, President of Business Development with Advance. Have we priced in all of the loss of the crop yet that could take place, or is everybody a little bit hesitant to take that dramatic step yet?
I think most are a little hesitant to take that dramatic of a step. What we see from our analysis is about a 10% increase year over year, and that 10% essentially is the war being priced in right now across grains, corn specifically. So if you look at carryouts year to year, they're about the same, right? But we're about 60 cents higher than last year at 660 nearby futures. So we call it about 10% right now. So is it all priced in? Probably not, but certainly we do have some premium in the market because of the Ukraine-Russia war.
So is there any premium for crop challenges in the United States as we start to turn a little more of the focus to U.S. crop production, as some of it is already going into the southern part of the country?
Yeah. So if you look at the soybean corn ratio at 2.29, that's most I think most analysts would call that a little bit more favorable to soybeans. So you're starting to see private estimates come out with a little bit heavier soybean acreage. The USDA is at 88 million acres planted for this spring. We're right in that camp of 88, and then you're starting to see some privates, closer to 89, 90 million acres planted. In terms of corn, it seems like a lot of folks are around that 92.5. We're at 92.5 million acres of corn planted, but certainly we need the northern hemisphere to come through, United States and China specifically. A lot of debate on how much gets planted in Ukraine. A lot of chatter around 50%. But also you need to be minded of what's going on in Brazil right now. You've got 95% of that second crop, that's a safrinha crop, and that's very important because we're about 7% ahead of last year, and they need to get that corn in the ground. And they also need a moisture profile to kind of help grow a large crop. So if we don't have near record crops in Brazil, the United States, and in China, we're going to be in a lot of trouble moving forward.
Drought conditions in Brazil could trim that safrinha crop a little bit.
Absolutely. We saw that last summer. That was something that couldn't happen, and it did. And that certainly kept prices elevated, even through last fall. And if that happens again, we're only going to see the same thing, only to probably a higher degree, Max.
Before we leave the discussion about acreage, we got a new update from USDA with the planting intentions report coming up. What do you generally see in these intentions reports? Are they a little bit conservative?
They generally tend to be year to year. You look at total acreages planted in the United States and how much do you carve out for soybeans, how much do you carve out for corn? That's certainly the focal point. I don't think they get too. I don't think they vary in too heavy of a degree from the outlook, right? At 92 million acres of corn and 88 million acres of soybeans, but it seems like most in the Midwest, kind of have a field or two that didn't get anhydrous applied, and so that's kind of on the fringe. Do you swing it to corn? Do you swing it to soybeans? And if that is the case, what is the overall impact moving forward? But as you noted, earlier when we were chatting, it's that acreage intentions is set and for 3 months.
What's your sense about spring wheat country, spring and durum wheat? What will be happening there? Who's winning that acreage battle?
Sure, that's a great question. If you look at the weather in the west versus the east right now, the west is certainly dry. Weather is on the hard red winter wheat. They certainly need a rain. Same could be said for spring wheat as well. It doesn't seem like there's a huge divide, I would say, between durum and spring year over year. But they are to the west certainly dry. right now, and really they have a little bit better of a chance of kind of some rain here early next week, but the 6 to 10, 8 to 14 day forecasts are still dry.
But will some of that acreage be pulled into, for example, corn or soybean crops?
It should be. It should be. Yes. It's always a debate on those fringe acres. You've got extreme volatility in the wheat market, as most know. Earlier this week on Wednesday, lock limit down across all wheat complexes. So, it's very debatable, I think, here moving forward.
We'll be back with you in just a minute to continue the conversation. Drew Moore joining us from Advanced Trading.